Hello there, Eagles. You are flipping in fifth with me, Mrs. G. We're going to continue looking at geometry for this topic, and to be more specific, we're going to be learning about the parts of a coordinate plane. Today's topic is topic 16, lesson 1, and today's learning target is I can identify and graph points on a coordinate grid. First things first, let's start with the vocabulary words. What is a coordinate plane anyway? Well, a coordinate plane is a way to show the location of a point using a pair of perpendicular number lines that intersect at 0. Go ahead and copy down the definition and then illustrate it for me as well. Our next vocabulary word is axis, and that is the name for the perpendicular number lines in a coordinate plane. So it's very, very important that you know that the x-axis is the one that goes left to right, the x-axis, and then the y-axis goes up and down. 0 is in both the x and the y-axis. Origin is that 0. So if you were to put a dot right here in the corner, your coordinates would be 0, 0. That's the intersection of the x-axis and the y-axis on a coordinate plane. And coordinates, well, those are sets of values that show an exact location. When you draw a dot to mark the coordinates, we call that a point. Now, in geometry, a coordinate plane includes all numbers, both positive and negative. It's divided into 4 quadrants, and we write the quadrants as Roman numerals, and the order travels around the coordinate plane in a counterclockwise fashion. So here we have quadrant 1, and we would have quadrant 2, 3, and 4. Now we are only going to be focusing on quadrant 1 because we're only talking about positive numbers. And if you look at the x-axis and the y-axis, they both have positive numbers. Next year, however, you're going to be learning a lot more about negative numbers, and you're going to be expected to plot the coordinate graph in all the quadrants. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like. But again, we're just going to focus on quadrant 1 for 5th grade. So here's how we plot coordinates Mario style. Yes, this is what Mario used to look like when I was your age in 1985. But what we notice about Mario is that he always runs and then he jumps. Well, that's actually going to help you when you remember how to plot coordinates, okay? So here we have the coordinates 8 and 7. So the first thing that we are going to do is we know that Mario, he runs before he jumps. So he's going to run all the way to the 8. So we are going to think of our imaginary line here going to the 8. Now what does Mario do after he runs? Well, he jumps. So here he's going to jump all the way up to a 7. And now we're going to think, okay, we're going to draw an imaginary line all the way up to the 7. So now that is where we're going to put our dot, right on the corner of 8 and 7. We always do the x-axis, or Mario always runs first, and then we do the y-axis, where Mario jumps. If that wasn't helpful for you, here is another little song that might help you remember how to plot coordinates on a coordinate graph.
Coordinate plane, plot points and lines. You ain't nothing but a coordinate plane, plot points and lines. You run with the x and then you move up and down for the y. You ain't nothing but the x-axis, moving left to right. You ain't nothing but the x-axis, moving left to right. The x-axis is a horizontal line. You ain't nothing but a coordinate plane, plot points and lines. You ain't nothing but a coordinate plane, plot points and lines. You run with the x and then you move up and down for the y. You ain't nothing but the y-axis, going up and down. nothing but the y-axis, going up and down. This vertical line goes high into the ground. You ain't nothing but a cold plane, flying towards the lines. You ain't nothing but a corner plane, flying towards the lines. You run with the X and then you move up and down the Y. You ain't nothing but the origin, crossing of the lines. You ain't nothing but the origin, crossing of the lines. They meet in the middle and they wanna have a good time. Thank you.
I think that guy is absolutely hilarious. So hopefully either using the Mario strategy or singing this song will help you remember that first you plot on the x-axis and then the y-axis. So let's go ahead and give this one a try. Let's look at this coordinate grid and you figure out which little guy here is in the wrong place. So for instance, we're going to look at our worm here. And we're going to find the worm over here. And it says 5 and 2 are our coordinates. So we're going to, Mario runs first. So we're going to go over the 5 and then he jumps. So we're going to go up to the 2. And there's the worm. So he's in the right place. So go ahead and do that for all of these and find the one that is not in the right place. Go ahead and pause the video and come back when you think you have your answer. Coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so which little guy was in the wrong place? There he is. I think that's a puppy dog. Yeah, it kind of looks like a puppy dog. So he's in the wrong place because he is at, let's go the x-axis first, 6 and 5, but we have 7 and 5 written over here for the coordinates. So he is in the wrong place. Good job. Okay, so now here's your practice problem for tonight. You need to write the coordinates for each colored dot. So your homework should say red dot, and then you should write the coordinates. Don't forget, coordinates have to have parentheses surrounding them and have to have a comma in between each so you know which number you're plotting. So go ahead and tell me red dot and then what the coordinates are with the parentheses, the 2 numbers, and the commas. Go ahead and pause the video and come back when you're ready for the answers. Coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here are your answers. The red dot is at 2 and 1. The blue dot is at 5 and 4. The green dot is at 6 and 6. The yellow dot is at 3 and 9. And the purple dot, well, that's at 10 and 10. All right, make sure you checked your work and you wrote how many you got correct out of 5. Be honest, this is not for a grade. Honestly, fill out that self-reflection. Could you teach a friend or are you still confused? And fill in the space for any questions you still have. All right, we are having fun flipping in 5th with me, Mrs. G. We'll tackle some more geometry tomorrow. Have a good night.